I was going through Aurelia. We had a lot of delays already due to poor road conditions. I guess there was an accident and they were doing the barrier repair. So they had us down to one lane just before the hill on Highway 12. Or sorry, on Highway 11, but just south of Highway 12. And no indication that the highway was closed either on 511 or Google Maps. We knew southbound was closed at this point, but northbound was not reported closed. We got up to the Weshego turnoff, which is Highway 169, and the OPP had it down to one lane, and they were diverting all the cars onto 169. But then all the transports, what they were doing is just keeping us on Highway 11 and staging us. I got lucky enough to get in the left lane, so I was able to pass about 100 parked transports and then get to the front of the line on the left-hand side. At that point, when I got off, the OPP stopped and told us we'd be shut down for about an hour or two. And that was at 2 o'clock or 2:04 p.m. on Saturday. And just at 9:31, they finally opened the road to where we were. We drove about 900 meters and came to a complete stop again. And then we got going again about an hour later. And then we got up to Highway 11 and 169. The OPP shut the road down once again. And then we sat there for about another hour and a half before we started making our way north. So the road conditions were deplorable. Obviously, a lot of snow, but then a lot of vehicles were still trying to sneak their way through. So we had vehicles driving up the side, almost hitting vehicles. A lot of people were putting themselves at risk for no extra reason at all. It didn't make a lot of sense for us. Southbound at that point was completely shut down. One of my guys who worked with my company was there from Saturday morning until Monday morning before he got out. We had other drivers that were coming south that were turned around, and one was stuck actually in Gravenhurst. Mm-hmm. I think the truck just left yesterday, so it was a long thing. I got lucky because I was at the front of the second line, and when they opened the road, we just zigzagged in front of each other to get going, and then I heard they shut the road down shortly after I got going again. So if it wasn't for that, I would have been stuck there for another day and a half or so.
Being a fuel supplier, Smith is fully aware of how even just a day can massively impact supplies to the north.
My load was going up to Cochrane, so a little bit of a drive north. They pre-order when they need it. I got there. I was scheduled in for Sunday morning, 7 a.m., and I got to their station Sunday night at 6:30 p.m., and they were out of fuel. So that's all the guys coming across from Western Canada or vice versa. Cochrane is a big fuel stop, and here's one of the largest truck stop in Cochrane, land size wise, did not have any fuel for almost 24 hours. So it's critical no matter if it's a small northern town or we service a lot of stations in the Muskoka area, Sudbury, North Bay, and around, and we just couldn't get trucks up. We had to divert trucks to Sault Ste. Marie to load fuel. I had to do that out of Cochrane just to keep one of our Sudbury stations open, and we have several stations that ran out. So it's when you can't get through, we're all on hours of service. We're all on electronic logs. There's only so many hours we can work legally, regardless. We're on logs, so that's what it is. We have to comply to it, and it affects everything. We had tow truck companies. They had power outages in Gravenhurst. They couldn't even get fuel, so they're telling people don't go out because we can't even fuel up the tow trucks that come rescue you. So everything just starts shutting right down completely, and it does not take long for stations to run out. They hold quite a bit of fuel, but they're not always full when a storm starts, right? Nobody can see that far in advance.
Looking back, Smith says there's a few things that he believes went wrong that led to this multi-day closure.
Well, the joke was many years ago when I started, which was about 30 years ago, always have a couple days supply. Which is always a necessity of life, but because nobody is going to come for you. You always have to have that mentality that you're always on your own. You plan your trip the best you can. Thankfully, these day and age, we have weather network trackers, but we can at least see when highways are closing down. But this one here, kind of a combination. I think a few people dropped the ball on it. We were stuck on the highway, I think, for 2.5 hours. Northbound was completely closed before 511 updated that it was closed. That was Shago. Google Maps didn't show it was closed. So I think they got to try to get some of they want us to use the resources, but they got to update them or be a little more. We had a lot of highway signs in Aurelian, and Barrie could have told us what was going on up ahead, but they just kept rolling the vehicles north. So it put a lot of drivers, and a lot of companies could have ran out of other commodities. We have guys that bring blood across the country. They go through there. You have different freight moving every day that has to get through for one reason or another. Not just a matter of just shutting things down.